Granger Network is a leadership consultancy that addresses some of the challenges that leaders in organization face around strategy, culture, and leadership.
Wonderful. So there's so much change. There's so much need for strategy. And with that, there's a lot of people that are expanding their services. They're diving in. There's so much competition. I know Carrie and I had a conversation, Carrie Granger, and I had a conversation, a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And you guys became partners of ours about 7 months ago, I think, is about when you became partners. What was it when you came on board with Carrie? What was the tipping point? What was it that most resonated with the value of Connex relative to where your needs were?
Yeah, well, we merged our firms together. We were looking for a partner to help introduce what we do into, the work that we do. We get passed along from the club of CEOs, right? Like, oh, who do you use for this? And so it's a very club-oriented business development cycle, and to really expand both my network and her network beyond who we know, we wanted to find a group that had already created a curated tribe that, when we get introduced, it's a warm lead, it's not a cold call, that just doesn't work in our business. And so we're really attracted to the membership that you had created, and the size of the company and the challenges that they deal with is a perfect match for us. And we just didn't have access to a range of prospects like you guys have put us in front of.
Well, what were you doing before Connex? What was not working that you
I wouldn't say there was anything that was working. Like, I think, but between my network and Carrie's network, we had a very viable practice that was like a lifestyle business. And then when we put our businesses together and decided, let's actually turn this into a real enterprise, we needed to get outside of our own network. And so that's what, it wasn't that there was anything working, it was just we needed to, grow beyond who we already knew.
Okay. So when we started giving you referrals, look, you and Carrie have a phenomenal reputation in the industry, seasoned professionals. Certainly business development for CEOs and founders is a whole different skill set. So maybe you could talk to some of the work that we did with you and coaching and giving you some feedback.
Yeah, a couple of things. The way we speak about ourselves, it was interesting to hear how you and Connex partners heard that, and how that would be heard in the ears of your members. And we just were blind to what we thought was going to be valuable wasn't, and what your membership was going to be looking for, and how they would be interested in what we had to offer, and then package that up in something that would be cogent for them was very enlightening for us. And so, the way we spoke about ourselves, worked, but I don't think it would have worked in this scenario. So the positioning paper that you helped us get clear on how to speak about ourselves was very enlightening, and we've taken that into other BD situations. And then our first couple of introductions to some of the members, we would just give them the whole enchilada, and you really coached us on get very specific, direct one of your services toward what they are gonna be interested in buying at a smaller level. And so the whole idea of pitching something that was going to be lower risk to get into the organization where you can then start the relationship was just a really good piece of advice for us. And it worked out, with Kern, one of our very first, customers that have come from this relationship.
And maybe you could let us know a little bit about that case study, right? How you were introduced to them, what that life cycle was, the decision making, where you're at right now, and how that's going to expand.
Yeah, I think the first thing that Carrie and I both really appreciate, first of all, before we even get into Kern, is, prior to meeting someone that you introduce us to, the level of work that goes into preparing us for that first engagement. The 2-page document that we receive that just really helps situate us to what we're going to be dealing with is super, super helpful. And in the case of Kern, there was a range of issues that I think were attracted to us to help them with. And there was just one thing, a supervisor boot camp to help get us in the door. When we heard them talk about, we need this and this and this, and Carrie said, well, why don't we focus on supervisor boot camp just to get started, just so that you feel comfortable with us. And so that was from your prior coaching on, calls that we had done previous to with other clients. And so that worked really well, and it got us in the door at a price point that we were very happy with and they were very happy with. And it's now opened up a Pandora's box of a whole range of other things that we can help them with. And so your coaching was bang on. This relationship to us is very strategic. As I mentioned, Carrie and our network was pretty good, but it wouldn't get us to where we wanted to go in our business. And I would say that the leads that we are given to us by you are super well curated. Like the matchmaking that occurs between a client need and our service is like a bullseye, and that's pretty phenomenal. And it's just really improved our business development pipeline, and the quality of the leads that we get are just right in our sweet spot. So I think that's one of the things that we really appreciate is the way in which you have matchmaked our abilities with their need really works really well. And as I mentioned, I think this is one of the most strategic things. I wouldn't call it an initiative, but partnership in our company, because it really is charting the pathway for doubling our growth